Good evening, members of the league. It's time to get happy. It's a little late. We should have been getting happy about 17 minutes ago, but had some technical difficulties trying to get one of the guests lined up and trying to get Hangouts to work properly. But we are here now, and here I am. Got my Doug's trying to call us.
What is going on?
Doug is available.
Stop it. All right. Anyway, I got my construction goggles on because there's a lot of work going on here, and we'll get to that. But first, I will introduce the two guests who are going to actually be on the show. Unfortunately, Doug isn't able to join us. First, we've got Eric. Looks like he's on his phone or his tablet, maybe.
I am on my phone. My computer is stuck at work. Just got home, put kids down, so I'm glad this is late.
Glad to have you. And then we can barely see Derek, but he's watching the Florida State Pro Day.
What do you mean you can barely see him?
We can see like your
well,
eyes.
your webcam needs to be pointed down a little bit, I think, because it's.
Oh, I'm like Wilson, just peeking over the fence.
Okay, there you go, Wilson. All right. Well, since last week, we have had 0 trades announced in the league. I was really pushing and hoping to try and get some trades to announce tonight, which I was successful in. There is one, and it involves me, and so that's part of the reason I was successful. And it also, unfortunately, against my better judgment, involves the better team in my division, the Stink Train.
Stink Train!
All right, so we'll get to that here in just a minute, and then we also have a little bit, maybe, of a kicker issue to talk about, or at least throw some things out about, and maybe see what the rest of the league has to say about that. But let me see here. Oh, and the Q&A is up if anybody's actually watching live. I don't know if you are because this thing got started so late, but the Q&A is rolling. I'll try and pay attention to it this week. I kind of forgot about it last week.
Who was that?
Construction goggles.
Construction goggles. There's a lot going on in Strong Baddie. A lot of construction with that roster going on in Strong Baddie. So I've got the goggles on.
Nice.
Won't let my son know I've got those. I'm probably stretching them out. I don't have real goggles because I don't do real construction work. But anyway, so let's get into the trade first. We'll just knock it off here. Like I said, against my better judgment, I made a trade with one of the teams in my division, the Stink Train. What I am giving up in this trade is Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders has 2 years left on his contract at $10 per year, and the Stink Train was more than willing to open up their arms to Emmanuel Sanders. Hey, we got Doug.
I'm happy to have him.
Doug, I can see you.
What's going on?
I can't.
Wonderful. We've got our first 4-way on 5 heavy minutes.
I can't see Doug.
You can't? Well,
No.
he's on.
I can see you, Eric.
I can. Oh, okay. Sweet.
All right. Well, we've got a 4-way going here. Anyway, so I'm right in the middle of announcing the only live trade to announce tonight, Doug, and that's me and Eric. I've given the Stink Train Emmanuel Sanders with the 2-year, $10 a year contract. In return, I am receiving Giovanni Bernard, running back, 3 years, $48. And we are going to officially change the name of the rookie draft to the Strong Baddie Reconstruction Project because I have picked up draft pick number 9. So the Cheats now own 1/3 of the 2015 rookie draft. That's right, 4 of the 12 picks reside in Strong Baddie.
And the Stink Train owns 1/3 of the best 15 wide receivers as well. So it's a wash either way.
Well, I guess, but I'm excited about all these draft picks. I love draft picks, and picking up another one made me happy. Let's see. I'm not sure what was going on here, but we got our first question in the Q&A from Mike Mostrom. He says, fun fact, me, Jason, and Doug were on a separate call. So I don't know what that means. I guess maybe they were all talking to each other. Maybe that's what was messing up. Maybe that's why Doug couldn't get in. I don't know.
Can I jump in and say why I did the trade?
I think that would be important.
Okay. I'm happy to be rid of Giovanni's contract. $48, splitting time at best with Jeremy Hill. I don't think he's a complete loss, but happy to get rid of that. I think that Sanders has one really, really good year left in him, and then after that, he is only a $10 contract. The 9 pick, historically has been really, really good. Basically, every 9 pick that has been drafted has been the Rookie of the Year. Very small sample size, though. I was going to do the pick straight up for Sanders. You wanted Giovanni, and I was happy to throw him in, considering his salary. So no wash here. So in this trade, I open up, I think it's $49 in cap room. So I'm back up over 100. So I'll be able to fill in my running back 3 slot with that extra cash that I picked up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was. I know the contract wasn't great for Giovanni Bernard. It got me. I needed running back help. It got me running back.
He's your RB1 now, right?
Probably. It depends on what else is going on. But with my guys, I mean, I'm not expecting a lot out, but I've got Darren Sproles in there. He might do a little bit, but yeah, he's definitely not a big deal. But anyways, I'm excited because it got me another draft pick.
Yes, Doug.
Eric, you don't got any running backs.
I have Jamal Charles. I have whoever I franchise between Joy Bell and Andre Ellington, and I have Isaiah Crowell. And now I have over $100 to pick up C.J. Anderson or Adrian Peterson.
Fair enough.
Boom.
Yeah, I was not crazy about giving cap room to Eric in my division, but getting a draft pick was helpful, and so that's what I did. Any thoughts, Derek, from the Florida State Pro Day?
From the Florida State or from the trade?
Either one.
Florida State's they had a busy field today. A lot of prospects out there. Rashad Green, wide receiver to look at. Don't know if he'll do any fantasy impact for anybody this year. Jameis Winston's looking good. Looking like Lovie Smith sitting there in the background pretty much all day, just staring him down. So I think that's pretty much a lock if he's going number 1. When it comes to our fantasy draft-wise, I do have to look, Roger, I think that is a good pickup, picking up pick 9. I think it can be valuable if you know how to use it. And I guess I want to clarify, like, how much money does Eric get out of this? Like, what's his total now? And then, Roger, what is your total now? I think you were at, like, 170-something, and you're dropped down to what now?
Well, $49.
Who's at 49?
I picked up an extra 49. I'm up at, like, 107 or something like that, and Roger lost $49 off of his cap space.
Yeah, I was at before this trade. Excuse me. I was at 188. I believe it dropped me down to 139, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Dropped me down to 139. With obviously some moves I'm going to have to make because I have completely filled my roster now. I have all 25 active spots filled. I have 2 guys on the injured reserve, I believe. If you count the draft picks, I haven't actually drafted these guys yet, but if you count the draft picks as actual roster spots, that fills me out to too many guys. So I've got to make some moves before the draft and before free agency, but I believe it puts me, after I make some moves, I'll end up around, I think I have the potential to end up around $180 or $170 in cap room with some necessary drops that I'm planning to make. So okay. I was comfortable with the move. The biggest difficulty I had with it was giving Eric cap space in my division, considering he's obviously the top team anyway.
I am the top team.
What did you see in Gio that you wanted to pick him up? Because Eric said he was going to give it to you straight up, the pick for Sanders. What did you see in Gio that he was actually worth that contract?
to be completely honest with you, I don't think he's worth the contract, but I had the money and it got me a better running back than I had on my team. And that's really where it left me. I have hopes for him. I'm not too confident in what's going to happen this year because I think he's going to be giving up a lot of carries as he did last year, even after he came back from injury. So I'm not too excited about what might happen this year, but I think he's good enough to be on my team at that contract because I didn't have a lot at running back anyway. And it was, like I said, it was a way to add another guy, add a better guy to my team, and hopefully it works out. Johnny Manziel didn't work out, but Gio might be different.
Okay.
But I'm going to quick jump over to the Q&A. Mike Mostrom's really working in there. His first comment after the trade was, wow. So I'm not sure what side that leaned to, but wow.
I have a pretty good guess.
But then his, let's see, he says, is it true if you don't use it, you lose it? I think he's talking about cap space. And I think he mentioned that before. He says, did Roger actually win a trade? I feel like I won. I don't feel like Eric lost because Eric got a good wide receiver. But I'm somebody who's rebuilding, so adding another rookie pick I think makes a big difference for me, and it makes it a win for me. Gio, maybe it's not a great contract, but somebody who has cap space and guys to cut, to me, it's a gamble I can take. I wasn't willing to take a gamble or to spend the money on some of the bigger contracts in the league, even though those guys come with bigger talent. There are some $90, $95, $100 guys out there who, if I would have given up enough, I could have picked up those guys, but I didn't want to take on a contract that big, especially because those guys will be running out of contract right around the time I'm hopefully getting the payoff of all these draft picks.
Makes sense for both sides.
Roger, did you get a haircut?
I got a haircut last night actually.
Oh, it looks really nice.
You like that?
Yeah.
Now I got marks from my goggles. Let's see here. Mike had another comment. He says, "Oh, Derek Laurie, are you mad at the additional cap room that Eric has?" I don't know.
I'm mad. No, I'm too rich. I don't really care.
How much cap room do you have?
180 something.
Okay.
Enough to fulfill my plan. Let's put it that way.
Your plan of getting the 6th seed and getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That plan?
I mean,
Ouch.
I ain't no Mike Samuels or Jared. The team will be a lot stronger than that.
Hey, Larry, I'm ready for that bet.
Let's not hope Mike Molson pulls like a 70-point or 80-point in the championship game when he plays me. So.
What was that, Doug?
You choked.
I said, I'm ready for that bet from Lori.
Hey, like I said, I am actually willing to take that bet. I just have to see what it's going to look like, when it comes auction time. I just honestly don't trust.
You got all the money. You've got your plan. I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah, Monopoly money, fantasy football money, and real money is a little different. Plus, Doug is.
Right, two more quick comments from Mike. One is actually a question. We'll get to those, and then we'll move on to this kicker deal. First thing he had here was, he asked if I'm going to drop Johnny Manziel. I'm going to wait till after rehab. At the very least, I'm going to show the guy some courtesy, and I'm not going to dump him while he's in rehab. When he gets done, we'll see if he cleaned himself up. Hopefully he has, and then maybe he can get that starting job back in Cleveland. The next, let's see, says I think we're talking about Gio Bernard. He sees nothing. He sees a backup to Jay Hill, the man, the stud. Obviously, we know where he is. So
that's how he feels, yet he's asking the question, did Roger actually win a trade? I don't see how those two things can go together.
Well, I don't know. I mean, for me, like you said, you would have done the trade straight up without Gio. For me, having the cap room Gio was just a throw in. It was a chance to maybe stumble on something unexpected. And hopefully I will. If not, I don't feel like I'm out too much. Because like I said, once you sign a guy and you pay the money, if you cut him, it's like Christmas because you get money back. I don't look at it as a cap hit. I look at it as getting some money back.
All right.
Are you on Storage Wars or Hoarders or something, Eric?
I am in our storage room because my wife came down and wanted the TV, so I didn't want that going on in the background, so I went to the storage room. Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
To the storage room.
Eric, would you like to start any discussion, brief as it will be, on kickers?
I think they're worthless. I don't really see the point of them. The cons list is a lot longer than the pros list in my estimation. And you know what? If this doesn't get passed, not the end of the world. I just don't really see the point of having kickers.
All right. I'm going to let Derek or Doug, either one of you guys, want to chime in on that. I know there was some online discussion on the league page about it, but I didn't know if anybody wanted to verbalize their thoughts one way or the other.
Go ahead, Doug. I think Lehman wanted to trade you a kicker or throw you one in there.
I have not reviewed your pro-cons list yet, but yeah, I don't think it's a necessity to have a kicker one way or another. I'm perfectly fine with not having them.
Boom. That's 2 votes.
What say you, Mr. Newberta?
I have not looked at that pro-con list either because that's Eric's list and not my list. I guess I look at a couple things. I look at Yahoo projections. They just figure every single kicker is going to score 10 points. So you always go into that, and I think the only advantage of having a kicker is it just gives you someone to root for. For instance, I have Dan Bailey. I'm obviously always going to be paying $1 for, or I shouldn't say obviously, I'm always going to be paying $1 for a kicker. And if you get guys out there, are going to throw $11 or something like that, that's just funny. So, I guess.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
You never know.
I'm pretty sure that's never going to happen again.
But, for Dan Bailey to go out there and for me to have to root for him to make a field goal, that's cool. I think Lehman actually mentioned today saying, hey, I got back-to-back 20 points on my kickers or something like that. So it's a luck of the draw. There's definitely no strategy into it. I'm not opposed I'm not opposed to taking out a kicker, but I'm definitely interested in hearing a whole bunch of different options of what we do if we would take it out. I don't know if I'm into just having 9 players, but definitely, to talk about a whole bunch of options and see what we could do if we did take it out. Like I said, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's not a big deal leaving them in there either.
All right. Well,
I think there's.
Sorry, who was that?
I'm going to say there's not much strategy. Obviously, if you have an offensive team, that does mean a little bit more. Being that you have the Broncos over the Bears or something like that. Broncos kicker's probably going to score a little bit more. But, yeah, I'm never spending more than $1 on a kicker.
Yeah, and in your standard redraft leagues, I know that we're not a standard redraft league, but kickers should always go in the last round. There's no correlation from year to year of a kicker doing well one year. That means they're going to do well the next year. It's all just complete luck of the draw. And, maybe part of that is fantasy. If I would have gotten just a little bit lucky, I would have gone undefeated this year. But I think it's just too much luck. There's no strategy in it. And sure, you can root for a guy, but what if we change that to a new flex position? Wouldn't you rather root for your 5th wide receiver than a kicker?
I don't have 5 wide receivers. Don't say that.
Well, and this is something that could not be implemented this year, I don't think. I think for sure we'd have to go one more year with a kicker, especially if we were going to, switch that position over to something else.
Okay. We've got a comment here. Mike Mostrom says, I like kickers because it does bring a strategy into the game. For example, I would pick a kicker and possibly pay more for him for a team that usually kicks field goals or is on a high-scoring team.
But that changes from year to year. Other than Steven Gostkowski, he's the one guy that has been consistently good. No one has finished top 5 back-to-back years since the beginning of that other league that shall not be mentioned. I got grass and stuff. I meant to post it earlier, but it's on my computer at work.
You got grass?
I got graphs. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah, he got that from Gordon.
I don't get that reference.
Grass, Gordon. Anyway.
I think there's a
All
lot more. I think there's a lot more important things too we should bring up besides taking away kickers. I think that's very minor. I don't think it's like I said, I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, whether it gets taken away or not, whoop-de-doo. But I think there's more important things to make this what we could decide on to make this league even better.
More important things that we haven't already voted on.
Yeah, exactly. And we pulled the trigger on way too early. So.
Like, for an instance, Derek?
Well, there's been some podcasts I listen to, and most of them are all Dynasty. And the Dynasty podcast, they always talk about, man, look, this guy is going to be sweet coming in next year. If you have a waiver wire, pick him up, pick him up right now. And it's like, that's not fair that those guys get to, these other leagues get to, literally play year-round. It sounds like, it's really sweet, and we could take our, this league to the next level if we can get 100% participation year-round in this thing.
I listen to those same podcasts you do. The difference between theirs and ours is we have salaries attached to it, and it would be near impossible to do an auction every week or even every month. We tried doing that with the preseason or with the pre-draft free agents, which I still love that idea. They got knocked down. I don't see how we do those types of things in our league. It works for normal dynasty leagues, but ours is not a normal dynasty league.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it would definitely be putting a guy on the auction block where we literally have to give a number and actually bid for him, like a guy every week. I think they actually go to that extreme where it's that easy for them to go to the waiver wire and do. For us, it would be a little bit more difficult, but I definitely see that it should happen and could if people, if owners would just, want to talk about fantasy football year round. So it is what it is. I just think it'd be a lot better, and I don't really see a lot of negatives to it. So.
In the interest of keeping the viewers or viewer into the show, I want to quick jump back to the kicker thing because Mike had a couple of comments back here that I think are worth mentioning. The first says, do people not change teams every year, wide receivers, running backs, etc.? I think they do. But then he also said, I think this is directed at Eric, that was a ridiculous rebuttal saying that kickers change teams, aren't consistent, etc. That's the exact same thing with multiple positions, people, etc. throughout the league. Mike really likes the word etc.
I said nothing about them switching teams. Even if they stay on the same team, there's no real relationship from one year to the next. And kickers are all bunched up. It's not like some of them are scoring 25 points a game on average and some of them are scoring 5. No, on average, they all score between 8 and 12. And that's it. Some weeks you'll just get lucky. Some weeks you'll get unlucky. But there's no real strategy to having a good kicker.
Fair enough. Let's see. Even though Eric tried to skirt around it with mentioning it by not mentioning it, the whole idea of bringing up something that's already been voted down. Mike did happen to comment that the pre-draft free agent was maybe his best idea ever. Idiots voted it down. By that definition, I am one of those idiots, and I made very clear early on, I think to Eric directly and then in general to the group, that I was voting down splitting up the free agent period. I was fine. I actually last year before the season got going, when I was new to the league, was a proponent of moving the entire free agent period before the rookie draft. Nobody seemed to want to do that. That's fine. I'm fine with the way it is. But I did not like the idea of splitting it up and doing 6 or 12 or 10 or however many free agents and then waiting a while, having the rookie draft over a 2-week period, and then coming together and having a live auction for the remaining free agents. Yes, there are a lot of them, but to me, I didn't like the idea of splitting it up because I want to do as much with everybody together at one time as possible, and doing more of it online and not live in person, to me, didn't seem like as much fun. Would it be cool to be doing free agents now? Yeah, I think so, but not at the expense of taking some of those big free agents away from the auction when everybody's together at one time.
Maybe if we had a second round, we could do that during the auction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. Let's see here.
So is it impossible to get everyone together like this time of year besides in August?
It's difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's difficult. I think if you try and make it happen, you can do it. I was shocked that as many years as I've been in a redraft fantasy football league, we were never able to get everybody together for a live draft. Some had to join us online, and so to get everybody together last year, for that, I like that environment, and doing as much in person like that as possible, I think is great. But if it means we have to do it only once a year, so be it. I understand that not everybody lives right around the corner from each other, and it's tough to get schedules to work. So setting one day or one weekend a year to do that obviously makes the most sense.
Yeah, and an argument against doing it all ahead of time. What do you do with all those rookies that don't get picked up in the draft then?
I think just like in the NFL, they're free agents. They're on the waiver wire. They're just like anybody else who doesn't get picked up in the free agent auction.
And this is why we need a second round. If we're going to go towards that, there's more than 12 rookies that are worthwhile getting picked up.
See, this is the thing.
And all the worthwhile rookies get picked up in the NFL draft.
See, this is the thing. You guys are kind of almost.
Well, hold on a second. Yeah, but the NFL draft has like what do they have? 8 rounds or 16 rounds or
7 rounds, I believe.
7. So yeah, I mean it's in that respect. I don't think you can really compare it. What were you saying, Derek?
This is where I think you guys are almost catching on and getting smarter. To have the auction. To have the auction.
If only I could get to 2 wins next year. If only I could get to 2 wins. Wait, I mean drop to 2 wins. Sorry.
I think Jason has the most to worry about to get the plate next year. But anyways.
Was there a follow-up question to that or a comment?
I don't know. I'm just getting distracted here. Anyways, with having the auction before the draft, it is actually almost smarter to have a second round draft. But we also made the salary cap, I think, this is too cheap to have second round draft picks. I want to almost start it at $60-some because, having a second round, it's, I think, what, you're planning on maybe thinking of just having everything $10 or something like that. I don't want to be forced to pay him $10, but if we have a second round, that gives us able to, if we have more expensive first round draft picks, then the second round, like the 13th pick, would be already at like $20 or something like that. And not everyone would be able to or would want to take a player that way, so it actually gets into the waiver wire. Then yeah, I would probably actually be for more second round draft picks, but the way our league is set up right now, I'm not for it at all. I don't like it.
I plus one that comment.
You what? Where's Doug?
He just turned the lights off.
Oh.
I really can't see Doug. I just see a little blue silhouette.
Yeah, the silhouette was there early on when we were having problems, and then he was on, but now it went black. Well, let's. I think Mike really would have liked to have been on this episode because he's got a lot of comments about the kicker situation. So I'm going to quick jump back to 2 comments he's got about kickers. An extra 4 points per week times 16 weeks total 74 points. Hashtag just saying.
Yeah, but they're not. I'm not saying the same guy's scoring 4 more points every week. Like, and you can't predict who it's going to be. The preseason lists look nothing like the final list. Someone needs to get a pair of headphones because I hear everything that I'm saying repeated back to me.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think that might have been on Doug's end. I think maybe his headphones came unplugged, but I think they're back in now or something because I don't hear the feedback.
Okay.
Last point that I'll bring up about the kickers on behalf of Mike, and I think Eric already had a rebuttal for this before it was even mentioned, but more fun facts. In 2013, Gostkowski, 174 points, Josh Brown, 106. 68 points differential. Yeah, all kickers are the same. But I think you had already kind of taken Gostkowski out of the kicker equation there and said everybody else besides him.
Okay, and what rank was Josh Brown? If I remember my spreadsheet correctly, he was the 32nd best kicker. We played 12. Some of us have a backup kicker, but what is the 12th best kicker? I'm guessing he's like maybe 30 points behind Gostkowski. Derek, guess
possibly, yeah. I don't know. I mean, Josh Brown could have been the second best for all we know at 106, and maybe that's why he brought him up.
No, he's not.
No. Okay. I don't know. It was 2 years ago. But, all right. Well, we got started late.
Where's Doug?
I don't know. His lights went out. But I think we're past our time. We got started late. We got a four-way. That was great. We got the trade announced. That was good. We got Doug on.
And
so that was good.
I'd like to officially put Emmanuel Sanders back up on the trading block, just FYI.
Well, I'd be interested to see what happens with him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you'd be interested in picking him back up.
Trade to Giovanni Bernard.
Oh, well, I'll consider it.
I'm not washing salaries. I'd wash salaries for the first year.
Congratulations on not washing salaries. I like that.
Yeah, we kept it dirty. All right. Well, okay. I can't leave Mike hanging here. Okay. Oh, here it was. Tucker was 159 points. So that was your second place guy.
Okay.
All right. Whatever.
Yeah. So that's that. Just another thing to make me look good. Mike did say back to my trade or our trade, the draft pick is extremely valuable. On top of that, if Hill happens to get hurt, he is a very good stud to rely on. That's all I can hope for. All I can hope for is starters to get hurt, and then my team becomes a team full of starters.
So, yeah, you're a Hill injury away and, getting the next Odell Beckham Jr. at 9. You raped me in that trade then, if that all happens.
Like I said, by having 4 of the 12 draft picks, I've increased my chances at locking up a stud at a low value for 5 years, right before the rookie contracts go up. So
Yep.
that was my plan. I'm happy with it. We're rebuilding, and fortunately, I'm not rebuilding in the same way that Jason is rebuilding right now. Because boy, that looks scary over there in Atlanta. The Alpha Dogs. I don't know how you can have an alpha when there's only one guy in the room, but.
Oh.
Will Jason have less points than me next year than what I had last year?
It's possible. That's
it depends
definitely
on if
possible.
he fields a full team.
I mean, it's just bad. It's bad. Like there ain't a lot of prospects, no draft pick, a lot of nothing. Him and Derek, I don't know. Them are gonna make me look really good.
Yeah.
Might just be process of elimination. If you guys play bad enough, it'll just make the last year's bottom guys move up a little higher.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was great. We got one live trade on here, so I'm happy about that. So thank you guys for coming on. Doug, I don't think you're there anymore, but thank you. Derek, Eric, Mike, thanks for the questions and the comments. It was like having 5 guys on the show at once, and that's a first.
Eric?
Yes, up.
Hey. Just another thing, when you want to throw me a trade offer, don't do it during the workday and say there's a deadline at noon, because this is not going to work. That's like me giving you an offer at 2 o'clock tonight and saying there's a deadline at 4 o'clock a.m. Like you're not going to wake up. You're not going to wake up on time. Know your time. Know your time.
Oh, how often have we talked fantasy football in the middle of the day? That wasn't out of the realm of possibilities.
No more trade deadlines. You know you would take it without no trade deadlines.
Well,
Just
the only reason
FYI.
I gave you one is because I wanted to move on if you weren't interested.
You know me better than that.
Well, I wanted it for tonight's podcast. So.
And we're trying to make live TV magic.
Yep. All right.
Let's get Doug going here a little bit. How do you feel about the news on Eddie Lacy coming out? About he's not going to get a lot of carries this year. They don't want him to be a workhorse. Is that scary a little bit? Like you want to get rid of him? And
No, they said that last year too. He'll be just fine.
All right.
Eddie Lacy or Latavius Murray? Who's going to score more points this year?
Derek?
Giovanni Bernard.
Nice. Okay, I think this is slowing down considerably.
Yes, it is. All right, thank you guys, everybody. Doug, thank you for making it work. This was awesome.
Go Duke.
We'll do something again next week.
You
All right.
shut your mouth. You
Oh,
shut
yeah.
your mouth.
Thank you, everybody. 5 happy minutes. 5 long happy minutes.
7 stars out.
See ya.